Channel 4. Next on Eyewitness News. Now, live.
Good evening, everybody. I'm John Henning, and here's the noontime report of Eyewitness News on this Thursday, January 21st, 1993. In Boston, our top story is the Boston University President John Silber and two school vice presidents received large general bonuses for deferred compensation to their retirement funds, according to a report published today. Two former Boston University vice presidents told the Boston Globe that the Boston University Trustees Task Force on Executive Compensation and contributed amounts that are equal to 10% of their salaries to their individual deferred compensation accounts. Two other people familiar with the issue were told the Globe that they did not want to be identified, said Silber yearly received about 40% of his salary to deferred compensation to his retirement account. It is not uncommon for universities and large corporations to grant their executives deferred compensation. Silber told them would be put him among the highest compensated college presidents in the country. That would mean Silber, who was annual salary is that's $275,000, has received number $110,000 a year in the deferred compensation. Financial dealings by Silber and some of the BU's 66 trustees have come under scrutiny recently after reports surfaced that Silber may have been benefited from the sale of the BU controlled Certain Incorporated, the medical diagnostic company, in 1989. He has strongly denied those allegations. Robert Feldman, former BU vice president of development, said he received 10% deferred from the compensation from the school, and said other vice presidents did as well. It's very standard practice as incentive to encourage senior people to stay at universities, Feldman said, added that he did not know how much compensation Silber received. Vice President Mary Jane Hempley said all vice presidents who have 5 years of service were given a 10% annual bonus for their retirement accounts. Bill Shields, TV4 Eyewitness News. In Boston, blasting the administration of Boston University President John Silber, angry BU faculty members have demanded that the school's trustees adopt a stringent code of ethics. The action comes in a state investigation of possible conflicts of interest by Silber, the 1990 Democratic nominee for the governor. The faculty council elected representatives at the university's 2006 and 12 professors released a 2-page resolution Wednesday calling for a code of ethics covering the school's trustees and top administrators. Under recommendations, all financial dealings between the university and individual trustees and decisions about salaries and benefits to the top administrators would be approved by the full board of trustees, and salaries and benefits are now set by the steering committee of the board. BU has 66 trustees, 10 of them honorary. Some of them allegedly have been business dealings with BU, and Silber is a subject to reports that he made $386,700 from the sale of BU-controlled Certain Incorporated, a medical diagnostic company, in 1998, denying the allegations. The faculty council is gravely concerned about the damage being caused by the situation, resolution said. The faculty also demanded that the national search at Stella Elber steps down and run again for the governor.
And right now, Amtrak says it
Bill Shields, TV4 Eyewitness News. In Boston, Boston police said 99.5% of the 40,000 burglar alarm calls they handle every year are false, and they're sent an alarm on their own. Dan Ray has a report. Beginning in March, companies and homeowners whose alarms go off repeatedly as mistake face fines as much as $200 a day. Careless actions, poor maintenance, and errors can produce false alarms from the 18,000. 600 alarms in the city, and I can understand the mechanical difficulty, but when these people come in 80 and 90 times a year, that's taking a considerable amount of the resources away from people who have legitimate calls, said Deputy Police Superintendent William Casey. It's just draining our resources, he told the Boston Globe. He also said police are calling repeatedly to the same address, although not necessarily the same business is there, and there's increased potentially danger. Officers may be caught unaware responding to the very alarm where they have been many times on false alarms. All you need is take one time when you're walking with your guard down, Casey said. Beginning in March, there would be a $50 fine for a third false alarm during the calendar year and $100 for a fourth false alarm. The line will jump to $200 for the fifth and subsequent alarms, with a $200 a day charge for every day thereafter that the user does not show that the problem has been fixed. Police Superintendent-in-Chief William Breton says things may get tougher if the number of false alarms is not cut by at least 33% this year. Under the union contract, 2 officers must be sent to every alarm. Breton said reducing the number of false alarms would free officers for other problems. Burglar alarm officials said false alarm rates of more than 50% are common throughout the country. They have led to some policies that could shut down the sales pitch that the alarm systems are the fastest way to get police in the scene. Robert Kerman's president of Electrical Alarm Security Systems in Janesville, Wisconsin, and the chairman of an industry committee to reduce false alarms and some technical problems again. The old system improperly installed by companies no longer in business. Dan Ray, WBZ Eyewitness News.
Was the cousin of 18-year-old Christian McFadden.
In Boston, the fate of Eugenia Moore, in prison 7 years ago for killing an ex-boyfriend she had abused and threatened her, is in the hands of the Governor's Council after Governor William Weld requested a commutation of her sentence. Casey Common has a report. Moore was convicted of second-degree murder in the death of Alfred Phillips and began a life prison sentence in February 1986. She is one of 8 women who said they shouldn't be in prison for killing mates when they battered and abused them. She had been stalked and harassed and threatened for some period of time. There was ample support of the record. Well, said Wednesday. In any case, no testimony was admitted about the battered women's syndrome. He said, I think that went to trial today. You might very well have a testimony admitted about the defense. Massachusetts passed an anti-stalking bill law last year. An advisory board of pardons unanimously recommended to Weld earlier this month that more sentencing be commuted. The governor's council, which must vote to approve commutation in Moore's term, said it would discuss the case next week. It's step 2, and we're hopeful, very hopeful, and we're grateful to the governor and to the parole board, said Moore's attorney Susan Howard. I think the parole board in Massachusetts should really be commended. They understand that it's just stalking. Sheila Hubbard, Wales employee as the head of the Pardons Board, said that Moore's commutation is approved and apparently would be the first time in state history that such a request of clemency would be granted. Moore, a Massachusetts Bay Transportation Authority bus driver, was imprisoned in connection with Phillips' death on June 5, 1985. Phillips had harassed her for days before the incident. Moore said, particularly on her way to and from work, he surprised her outside a drugstore and Moore thought he was going to kill her. She said she wasn't sure what happened during the ensuing struggle, but Phillips, who had struck her in a knife in Moore's back, was stabbed twice. Stacey Kahat, whose work was battered women and won a Weebach International Human Rights Award last year, met Moore 4 years ago when she believed that she was destined to spend life in prison. Cabinet Project Director for the group Battered Women Fighting Back in corporate said not just the court system needed to be more responsive to escalating domestic violence. We want to see that we have put out work you don't have to defend battered women and children, she said. Moore is one of the women dubbed the Framingham 8 after the city that is home to the state's largest prison sentence commutation, saying they killed abusive husbands, boyfriends, or former mates in self-defense. Lanesboro, Massachusetts. Casey Gottman, TV 4 Eyewitness News. In Lanesboro, Massachusetts, parents want to know why a school official didn't pull a bus driver off his route sooner once allegations that he raped 2 pupils at service last February. About 150 members of parents attended a school meeting led by Berkshire County District Attorney Joe Downey Wednesday night, voicing their concerns over the way the case had been handled. But George St. Pierre, superintendent of the Greylock School Union, defended the district's action. There's a great deal of discretion that must be used when you're dealing with a person's reputation, particularly when you don't want the practice to proceed, St. Pierre told the parents. Meanwhile, prosecutors said they were keeping the case open against Robert Housley, age 64, of Lanesboro, who drove a bus for the Lanesboro Elementary School for about a year and a half. The suspect was jailed in lieu of $500,000 bail Tuesday after he pleaded innocent to charges that he raped 2 8-year-old pupils in an elementary school. Prosecutors said he threatened the victims with a knife, a gun, and baseball bat, and he also used some kind of restraints for his previous say with alleged victims were boys and girls. To keep the children out of the house, he threatened their safety and that a family member's police. And prosecutors said Halsey faced 2 counts of child rape, 2 counts of lewd behavior, and 16 counts of assault, but assistant district attorney David Capel said initial charges could follow. Halsey's court-appointed lawyer Richard LeBlanc of Pittsfield declined to comment on the case. Portland, Maine, federal officials won't bring criminal charges against 3 police officers who shot Catherine Haggerty to death at her wilderness camp in Jackman last year. There's no question that the death of Catherine Haggerty was tragic and regrettable, but the evidence didn't prove beyond a reasonable doubt that the officers broke federal criminal law. U.S. Attorney Richard S. Gordon said Wednesday, Haggerty, 51, formerly a national, was shot and killed by a state trooper and 2 officers at the Somerset County Sheriff's Department and when who stormed their cabin after campers told police she had shot at them. The shooting sparked statewide protests by police critics and a review of the state police training and procedures by State Attorney General Michael Carpenter found the police officers' actions unprofessional and inappropriate, but not criminal. Reviews by the sheriff and state police cleared the officers. The officers who shot Haggerty were Trooper Gary Wright of the state police and Deputy Sheriff Rennie Guay and Patrol Sergeant Wilford Hines of the Sheriff's Department. Somerset Sheriff Spencer Havey said he was pleased with the decision. I was not concerned too much. My men did everything right and I felt that all along, he said. Evidence in the case was examined by federal prosecutors in Maine and Washington, D.C. Gordon said in a joint statement with Assistant U.S. Attorney General John Dunn, who oversees the Justice Department Civil Rights Division. Earlier this month, Haggerty husband John Haggerty, also formerly a national, filed a federal lawsuit against the officers and other officials. 3 of the 4 fishermen who said that Haggerty shot at them would have sued her today. John Haggerty's lawyer, David Weber of Lewiston, said Gordon's announcement would have no effect on his lawsuit. When he decided not to bring criminal charges, it doesn't mean why you're set. Shooting what happened, said Weber. Whoever the officers violated Mrs. Haggerty's constitutional rights is something he didn't even look at, he said. Cohen said federal prosecutors were constrained by the limits of federal law, which they said they narrower than the rules of state law. Whether the officers acted carefully, probably and probably wisely for questions for state, local, civil authorities and not the criminal prosecution arm of the federal government, he said. In news around the nation and in world news, the self-styled parliament Bosnian Serbs voted overwhelmingly but reluctantly to approve to an international peace plan that would keep Bosnia and Herzegovina as a single state. The Allied airstrikes against Iraq in the final days of the Bush administration were too small to deliver a punishing military blow to Saddam Hussein's government, but they were large enough to cause problems between the United States and its allies, limited options for the Clinton administration. As an Iraqi ceasefire went into effect, tractors continued to plow for mangled concrete and a twisted piece of metal at Al-Nida General Establishment for Diaz and Molds in Baghdad. Iraq denied the U.S. assertion and was a nuclear arms site. By making it illegal for Israelis to have contact with groups of banded as terrorists that Parliament may have faced in the day when the government will enter the direct peace talks with Palestinian Liberation Organization. Shaken by a new surge in inflation that has sent prices up more than 30% in the 3 weeks, the government moved to impose stricter financial controls with a program to restrict low-cost credits to industry, raise bank interest rates, and issue bonds to finance the budget deficit. After weeks of anticipation that the inauguration of President Clinton would be accompanied by a fresh wave of Haitian immigrants, only one boat carrying the refugees will be intercepted by the Coast Guard near Haiti. Germany's renamed the head World Health Organization. Anglo troops to retreat after a rebel victory, and a politician sought to challenge his critics.
That's Senior Whole Health.
Bill Clinton took office as the nation's 42nd president and gave an address striking to its appeal for the sacrifice for the greater personal responsibility. 2 hours after Clinton took the oath, his aides were at work. The Senate confirmed Christopher, Aspen, and Benson. Core, the returning victor, was saluted at the Capitol. One Virginia family's visit for Inauguration Day. Far from the Capitol, Denver workers mulled new beginnings. The contrasting moods were palpable throughout the inaugural ceremony. From afar, the Bushes seemed to be maintaining their composure, but up close their eyes showed the strain. Most of Clinton's and Gore's meanwhile could hardly contain their excitement. Best returner Houston said, "It's been one hell of a ride." Washington was a place of pomp, patriotism, and primping. The inaugural gales introduced an alternate dress code. The Boomers Ball, Clinton and his new trappings. The new president's aide said that he would direct the Pentagon to prepare an executive order lifting the ban on homosexuals in the armed services within the next few months, and that the meantime the military would be ordered less formally to stop discharging gay and lesbian people. Few will now take exception in the message of hope and rebirth that the president delivered in his address, but is far less certain that he will carry the country with him in his appeal, face hard truths, and take strong steps in a spirit of shared sacrifice. In what reads more like a tell-all book to the government document, the Justice Department ethics report on the FBI director paints a biting, gossipy picture out of a high official abusing his office for convenience and gain. Thus, judges refused to reopen the courtrooms. Hope of freeing Galileo's jammed antenna was abandoned. Startling. New evidence implicates high-fat meals. A storm knocked out power to 750,000 people in Washington state. Dr. Kevorkian helped another ill person commit suicide, and the new defense motion in Rodney King case centers on the race. Daily market randomness stocks. The Dow Jones itself closed at 3241.95, down 14 points, and 500 index 433.37, down 176. Okay, in the sports. Who needs inaugural parades, inaugural luncheons, inaugural prayer sessions, and inaugural balls? Any basketball freak wants to know. Hail to the Chiefs played once again and again. Wednesday had only watched the Boston Celtics last night. All they had to do was watch Robert Parrish. The real Chiefs grabbed 15 third-quarter rebounds to lead his team to a 121-106 victory over Atlanta Hawks at the Boston Garden. Parrish had 19 boards for the game, was the main force in the Celtics turnaround from yet another mediocre first half in which he would out-rebounded 27-26 by the Kevin Willis-less Hawks. By the time it was over, they recorded a season high 62 boards out-rebounded Hawks 62-45 while holding them to 35.7% shooting. He took the game over Parrish's biggest booster, backup center Joe Klein, when he started rebounding. They were getting only one shot. That's what was killed us in the first half. Indeed, the 39-year-old veteran center was huge, falling only 2 rebounds shot at team record set 3 times by the legendary Bill Russell. And he got 15 in only 10 minutes before being removed from the rest of the game. All of whom brought a mighty ho-hum for Parrish. I didn't know about the record until after the game. He said, if I'd known about it, I would have asked to go back, and sure, it would be nice if I achieved it, but it's no big deal. I'm beyond records and those things that have saved my career. To try to tell that to Coach Chris Ford, who was overjoyed that his team rebounded from its poor start and inability to stop Dominique Wilkins at 35 points. And tonight, the Boston Bruins being filled with headache and on the field of the Flyers.
There'll be some winds, not as strong, but that's going to be blowing the snow around as well. We've got winter storm warnings up for areas shaded in pink. Everybody getting in on at least some.
Barry Burbank will have the weather after this commercial break on Eyewitness News. Stay tuned.
And it's going to leave behind, it looks like a jackpot here in southeastern Massachusetts. With more being northeasterly wind, that's going to provide some ocean enhancement here. Closer to the center of the storm, 10 to 12 inches plus. Some
Sears Brand Central Super Sunday Sale. Let's projection TV put you into the game. Worth $79.99 and 99 on this 46-inch TV. This RCA TV at $19.99, 42-inch TV. This 17-inch TV at $799.99. This 1-inch surround sound TV at $899.99. A TV features on screen menu at $14.99.99. And these TVs
below zero. We've got a light northerly wind right now. Temperatures in the 20s from Hyannis down toward the islands.
Range from $279, $177 to $749. You can count on Sears for satisfaction, guaranteed your money back at Sears Charge Bonus Club here. That's Super Sunday Sale at Sears Brand Center here at the Sears Brand Central.
And visibility is in spots now under a mile, and that snow is going to continue to spread and fill in through the early.
Radio Shack's gigantic clearance price cut 10% to 60% plus. Look for this 10 clearance closeout price and take an additional 10% already low clearance prices. Look for gigantic sales at the store. Hurry in for the best selection on VCRs, stereos, camcorders, telephones, cellular, recorders, radios, computers, software, toys, clocks, and calculators at Radio Shack, America's technology store.
Intensifies. The wind field gets stronger as well.
All right. 12:20 now. Here now, Barry Burbank and the weather. Take away, Barry. Okay, thank you, John. Right now, our current conditions at Logan Airport in Boston, Massachusetts at
Correct. Yeah, that's right. It definitely will be focused on the Cape.
noontime. The temperature is 37 degrees with a wind chill about 32 degrees with a doable about 26 degrees. The humidity 65%. Barometer 3.16 inches.
50 miles per hour.
Feels like about 10 miles per hour. And the winds east north is about 6 in condition. Podcast skies.
And even through parts of Scotland.
Around the region, weather-wise, it is.
So you see these winds back all the way inland.
It's 33 degrees out in Norwood, 35 in Providence, 34 in New Bedford, 33 in Newport, 38 in Hyannis, 38 out in Nantucket, 37 in Provincetown, 24 out in Bedford, 23 in Worcester and in Chicopee, 20 in Westfield, 31 in Hartford, 32 in New Haven, 33 in Bridgeport, 36 in
However, along the coast they will.
New London, 36 in New York City, 26 in Albany, 21 in Plattsburgh, 27 in Montreal, 31 in Burlington, Vermont, 27 in Montpelier, 28 out in Mount Washington, 20 out in Keene, New Hampshire, 23 in Manchester, New Hampshire, 30 out in Nashville and Portsmouth, New Hampshire, 26 in Portland, Maine, 29 in Lewiston, Maine, 24 in Augusta, Maine, and 24 in Bangor, Maine. Here.
Those winds.
Okay, let's take a look at them.
Even colder wind chill advisories are in place north and west of Boston. You see until 10 o'clock in the morning. And here's what we're looking at when you wake up in the morning. 14 below zero in Orange, 10 below zero in Lawrence, 11 below in Boston. We start to relax.
It's rain.
But then even colder air.
Will fall into the northeast for today and tomorrow as a storm moves to the Great Lakes to stop return mild with sunshine and high pressure promoted sunshine in central and southern plain states.
On the Cape, but once the storm goes by, it's just
And snow coming the return of colder air to the northern Rockies and the northwest coast will be damp showers here.
and the rest of the week. These are the high temperatures tomorrow. Single digits teens to around 20 degrees, and you're going to see that on the
Sunset 4:44 p.m. and sunrise tomorrow morning about 7 to 9 a.m. and sunset tomorrow evening about 4:45 p.m.
or below.
Okay, let's take a look at our forecast. Will go like this. It'll be this afternoon. Will be mostly overcast skies. Low about 36 to 40 degrees. For tonight, chance of rain, freeze rain and up north in northern Massachusetts up to New Hampshire and Maine and Vermont. Lows in the 20s. It'll be rising throughout the day tonight and the overnight hours tomorrow morning here.
You know, the freezing mark yesterday, maybe not again until the
Weekly pattern. Friday will be rain with a high about 45, low about 30 degrees. Saturday, sunny skies high about 45, low about 25 degrees. Sunday,
ambulance
cloudy skies with a snow or rain chance, high about 35, low about 20 degrees on Monday. It'll be raining earlier, it'll be about 50 by morning, and it'll be falling to 30 by Monday afternoon and evening. And that's it for weather. Okay, let's see what Tom Bergeron has got on People Talking. Tom? Well, thank you, John. Okay, coming up next on People Talking, we're going to talk about
Call home investors today.
the Bill Clinton here, and we're going to talk about what Bill Clinton will bring to this nation. That's People Talking coming next on Eyewitness. Take away, John. Okay, thank you, Mr. Bergeron.
For the pain to stop. What I wanted was New England health and wellness.
team of doctors with a new treatment that will give you your life back. That's New England Health and Wellness. And into the pain. It's all I wanted. Call now to speak with one of our specialists. New England Health and Wellness. 978-788-9355.
My dad has atrial fibrillation, or AFib. He has the most common kind. It's not.
And that is going to be it for the TV4 Eyewitness News, the
5 times greater risk of.
noontime war button. It's January 21st, 1993 on.
It looks like maybe.
Nope. Let's take a look at the people here. Dolly Parton received birthday wishes Tuesday from Bob Hope, Chet Atkins, James Woods, and Eddie Rabbitt, among others. Parton celebrated their 47th birthday on WSFV and WDFI, with the radio station she partly owns in Sevierville, Tennessee. Solicit birthday wishes. From several relatives who called the station for today. James Woods was the best kisser in the world, said Gary Foss, the general manager of the station. Woods and Patton co-starred in the recent movie Straight Talk. Parton was not present at the station but telephoned from vacation and undisclosed locations. She got a few days off, Foss said. Woody Allen and Mia Farrow have agreed to resume therapy, but their 7-year-old adopted daughter he accused of abusing, and to resume visits between Allen and their 5-year-old son, sources said Tuesday. Both sides in the weather has become one of the nation's most public custody suits. Agreed that the daughter Dylan should undergo therapy, from which Farrow withdrew her from about 6 months ago. The staffers at Yale New Haven Hospital who spoke to Dylan had determined whether she had been sexually molested and approved that therapy, but the sources said who spoke on condition and the nominee. They said Farrow will choose their therapist, but Allen has final approval. Allen, 57, and Farrow, 47, are in custody. Fight over sexual. Dylan adopted son Moses, 14. The actress who had been Allen's lover and favorite lady lay for 12 years accused him of sexually abusing Dylan. Farrow was 11 and adopted biological children. Learned last January that Allen was romantically involved with her oldest daughter. Sunni Previn, 24. And
sponsored by Home Investors of America.
Italian director Federico Fellini will receive an honorary Oscar at the year ceremony. The Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences announced Tuesday. The award will be presented for cinematic accomplishments that have thrilled and entertained worldwide audiences. The Academy said his films include La Strada, La Dolce Vita, and Sertica Amara. And trivia: according to the Beatles song "Glass Onion," who was the Wallace? Paul. Paul the Wallace. And we're gonna have some mild weather here. Yep, we're gonna have some overcast, be mild, about 36-40 degrees, and for tomorrow we'll have some rainy skies with about 45, low about 30 degrees. Saturday, sunny skies, about 45, low about 25. Sunday, chance of rain and snow about 35-20. Monday, rain and only 50 in the morning, then to fall to 30 by afternoon, evening, and Monday. And that's gonna be it for Eyewitness News. The noon report minutes, Monday, January 21st. On this Thursday, January 21st, 1993. On the Thursday, I'm John Henning alongside Barry Bradford. We have a good day. And coming in next on Channel 4 will be Tom Bergeron and People Talking. We'll be back tomorrow, and Eyewitness News will be back at 5 o'clock. Have a good day. Bye-bye for now. Here.